Did you know that Ubiquiti makes a cable modem? This is the UniFi Cable Internet, model UCI, and this is a DOCSIS 3.1 cable modem that can replace the modem given to you by your ISP. Once you've installed the UCI, you can then manage and monitor your cable internet connection through the UniFi dashboard. And you'll also be able to save on any modem lease fees that your ISP may be charging you. There are some caveats to using the UCI, however, so you're going to want to stick around to see if this device is going to work for you. Now, in my case, I can't use it with my internet connection, so I'm going to be giving this one away to one of my subscribers. More details on that giveaway in just a minute, but first, let's dig into the UCI. All right, let's start by getting this thing out of the box. All right, so there we go. There is the UCI, and this thing has a pretty small form factor considering that it's a rack mount appliance. UniFi Cable Internet is $279, and it features one DOCSIS 3.1 port for the coaxial cable connection from your ISP, as well as a 2.5 gigabit port for connectivity to the WAN port of your UniFi gateway. If you do want a full 2.5 gigabit connection from the UCI to your gateway, however, you're going to need one of the UniFi gateways that has a 2.5 gigabit WAN port, of which there are 5. Now, you can use the UI product selector to filter down on the speed of the WAN port to get that full list. I mean, that's it. There really isn't too much to this product, but as I said before, there are some caveats to using it, so let's go over those now. So first of all, the UCI only works in the US, and it only works with specific ISPs. On the business side, we have Comcast Business only. And then on the residential side, you can use the UCI with Xfinity, Charter Spectrum, or Cox. Some of these providers also have limits on their third-party gateways. So for example, Comcast Business doesn't allow you to have static IP addresses with your cable connection unless you use their Comcast Business gateway. That's why I'm not able to use this particular UCI. I've got a block of 5 static IPs and I don't want to switch away from those. Additionally, Comcast only allows for cable connections of up to 1.2 gigabit down and 40 megabits up if you want to use a third-party gateway, which is probably fine for most people, but I know that Xfinity can deliver up to 2 gigabit internet over coax in some areas. Charter Spectrum also limits their cable plans to 1 gigabit download and 35 megabit upload when you're using a third-party gateway. Some providers are also upgrading their infrastructure to what's known as high-split DOCSIS. Now that basically is a marketing term for using more available bandwidth in the lines, and it allows for things like symmetrical internet like 1 gigabit upload and 1 gigabit download. The UCI does not work in areas that have upgraded to high-split DOCSIS. So to set up the UCI, first you need to plug your coaxial cable connection right into the back of the unit, and then you need to connect the RJ45 port to the WAN port of your gateway. You don't have to have a UniFi gateway for the UCI to work properly, but really, that's what it's designed for, right? And that's probably what's going to give you the best experience with this device. If you use the UCI with a non-UniFi gateway, it will still work, but you don't get any visibility into the statistics of the device. So once you've plugged it in and set it up, the next thing is what most people probably won't be looking forward to when it comes to activating the UCI with your ISP. Now, each one of the ISPs that I mentioned has a different method for activating third-party modems. I mean, sometimes it's through an app on your phone, sometimes it's like through an online web portal, but if neither of those work, it's going to take a call to customer support. Now, in researching the UCI online, anecdotally, I found that the vast majority of users that I came across said that the activation of the UCI was quick and easy. Usually it takes less than 10 minutes, and mostly it can be done without having to call into your ISP's tech support. There were a couple of cases where activation took over an hour, but a lot of that time was just waiting for tech support and getting them to, understand that you're trying to replace their modem with a third-party modem. And sometimes when you call into an ISP, just getting the right person on the phone can make all the difference. I did read about one horror story where a guy worked with tech support for 2 or 3 hours. The ISP eventually had to roll a truck out to their location, and they were still unable to get the UCI working, but that case does seem to be an outlier. By and large, people reported that activating the UCI was pretty painless. Now, once it's installed and operational, that's about it. I mean, there really isn't much in terms of configuration options within UniFi. You can see the CPU and memory info, you can see bandwidth statistics, but I mean, really, that's it. So why then would you want to buy the UCI? Now, in my opinion, there are a few reasons. First and foremost is to save money. Your mileage may vary, but Comcast Business charges me a $32.95 per month equipment fee for my Comcast Business Gateway. That means if I were able to use the UCI, the $279 purchase price would pay for itself in about 8.5 months. And then I'd be saving over $300 a year after that. The second reason is performance. And now let's face it, ISPs are all about one thing, right? They're about profits. And as part of their strive towards the absolute best bottom line possible, the modems that they hand out are pretty bottom of the barrel. Replacing those junky modems with a nice piece of equipment means that you're going to be able to squeeze some extra bandwidth and lower latency out of your internet connection. In combing through all of the Reddit posts and community forums about the UCI, I found that about 75% of users reported faster speeds and better performance with the cable internet device when compared with their original modem. Now, out of the remaining 25%, about half of them said their speeds stayed the same, and the other half said that their performance actually decreased. So again, anecdotal information found online, but the consensus is that there's a better than 50-50 shot that the UCI can help improve your internet performance. And of course, there is always the cool factor, right? If you have a full UniFi stack in your home or business, adding the UCI means replacing a non-conforming modem with this gorgeous 1U rack mount device with the little 1.3-inch touchscreen display that we've all come to know and love. And in fact, that's really what I wanted to see in my own network as well. And I even designed my rack with 1U of space at the very top specifically for the UCI. But that was before I researched it a little bit more and found out that it doesn't work with Comcast Business if you have static IP addresses. And if you're going to take anything away from this video at all, it's that you should do at least the minimum amount of research before buying the UCI, right? Is this going to work with your ISP? Is the service provided by your ISP compatible with the UCI in terms of internet speeds as well as the connection type? Remember that the UCI is DOCSIS 3.1, and some ISPs are already rolling out DOCSIS 4 in order to push higher speeds out to their customers. So since I didn't do enough research when I got the UCI, my loss is your gain because I'm going to be giving this one away to one of my subscribers. Full giveaway details are in the description of the video down below. But bottom line is that if you live in the US, then you're going to be qualified to win this thing, and I will ship it out as soon as I pick the winner. All right, if you'd like to keep this party going, I have hand-selected a couple of videos for you to watch next. The top video is my recent full review of the new Starlink Gen 3 dish, and the bottom video is my full review of T-Mobile's 5G home internet.